Hey, Facebook land. I accidentally hit my button a little bit too early, so we were just getting up some. There we go.
There's Instagram. Holy cow.
I was just like, boom.
You either hit it early or I hit it late. It's still, we'll go back to the tape and see.
Yeah, no, absolutely, definitely. I just I had a jolt and it just happened.
I wasn't on board with you at the time. Well, welcome everybody. This is Monday Night Live.
Yes, it is.
With Dean and Kate Semmens and Dean Nixon with TurningLeaf Wellness Center here in sunny St. George.
Yay!
Cold, sunny. Grateful for the weather, though.
Yep.
Thankful for the rain, but man, I'm looking forward to the summer.
Went to Cedar City today. So much snow.
Lots of snow.
Bless all of you people north of here.
Yes. You know you can move, right? You don't have to live there. Well, we are excited to get started tonight.
Yes.
Some of you have had the opportunity, those of you that are in the Move Your Feet group have had an opportunity to watch that video earlier today. And now I'm joined with Kate, and I'm excited to get started on the Move Your Feet, the
live.
I don't even know what I'm doing.
Where are we right now?
That's right. So welcome everybody.
And the cool part is our topic tonight was a request.
It was a request. Well, thank you, Martin. I'm grateful you said I'm looking good. That a boy.
That is nice.
The beard.
Martin, how do I look today? We're just gonna wait. Everyone's
waiting
waiting now for you, Martin.
Everybody's waiting for your response.
Just kidding. We won't put you on the spot.
So as we get started, it is one of the requests that we had for tonight, and the request came, tell me about let's talk about dreams.
Right.
And I thought, well, that's a very unique request. I've never had anybody talk or request
Martin
that.
says I look fantastic with
There you
3
go.
smiley face with the heart eyes. So
I'm telling you.
Martin,
I'm
sure
telling
make
you.
a girl feel good. Jill, thank
Jill
you.
says you're beautiful on Facebook.
I can just beg for compliments all
know,
day.
maybe we'll just do that tonight.
No. We won't.
But
Moving on to
anyway,
dreams.
with the request was for dreams, and I love this one because I do get a chance to talk a lot about dreams and help people understand what they mean and how they affect them. But it was such a cool request.
Yeah.
And I'm excited.
That is a really cool request. And I was actually just even thinking with the last seminar we just did, whenever those of us that have been through the seminar series, you have an opportunity to be able to come back and help staff through the seminars. Right. And one of our staffers, I just remember she asked you about some dreams that she had. So this is, I'm super excited. So the first question I have when I think about dream interpretation is first and foremost, is there anything to that? You know what I mean?
Absolutely there is. And there's a lot of components and pieces that go into dream interpretation. One of the first things that we have to remember, this is the part that I get super jazzed about. So hang in there.
Here we go.
This is my tangent button. So one of the coolest parts that we need to understand is how the brain works. The brain itself, if you put your 2 hands together, this is about the size of your brain. Don't judge yourself poorly. It's the size of your brain, right? So if you think about that, there is about 1 tablespoon of that is governed by language, or it uses language to communicate or understand and process. That 1 tablespoon is a conscious state of being. So the rest of
it's not very much. It's like
not.
That, right?
That's just like my pinky's worth. So like a pinky's worth of that is the cognitive part that uses language. The whole brain is cognitive, but you have a conscious, you have a subconscious, and then you have as I like to call it from some of the learning teachings of other people is the conscious observer. Mm-hmm. So we have this part of our brain, the subconscious, that communicates through imagery. And so dream interpretation has a lot to do with processing or filing things away. So if you think about your day, you're going through your day all day, you're having all of these experiences, they're all emotional. Otherwise, we don't retain them. That's the one thing we have to remember is that if it's not an emotional experience, you don't retain it. That is an important piece here. So you're going through the day, you're having all these emotional things. Some of them you're cognitively filing away on your own, but the ones that you don't, you go to sleep at night and your brain's like hitting the file system.
Still working.
Still working.
Okay.
So all of a sudden you're having a dream about some kind of a cat eating Cheetos and playing bingo. And you're like, what the crap kind of dream is this? But it's your brain's way of trying to file stuff away in a way that in imagery in ways that make sense. So when we look at the imagery, sometimes people will bring imagery to me and say, okay, this is what I was dreaming. Help me understand it. Then there's another side of things. There's a whole other side of things, which is the revelatory dream process, where you can be influenced or impacted by your higher power, or by the universe, or by God, or Allah, or Buddha, whatever you want to believe in, or whoever you believe in. But I call those inspirational dreams. You can couch them under whatever you choose to call it.
Sure.
But I
Whatever
call
works
them
for you.
revelatory dreams. So revelatory dreams are really cool, because revelatory dreams are the ones that you're being spoken to very, very clearly. Those dreams are the ones that you can tell the difference, because there's almost, when you awake, there's this impulse to get up and write about it.
Okay.
And that's what I encourage you to do in those revelatory moments. Is I encourage you to get up and you write it down, and you write down the imagery and write down everything that you see. And if you feel compelled, then you know that it's a revelatory dream. Now, sometimes people will think, well, I feel compelled because my dream scared me. And what if it's this? What if it's that? If you're in a fear-based place, if you're in a, oh my gosh, this is going to happen, then that's not a revelatory dream. Most revelatory dreams are going to be very reassuring. They're going to be very loving. Some people are like, oh, have premonitions. The people are going to, bad things are going to happen or happen to them. In my experience working with people, I've never had anybody with a revelatory dream that was an omen of bad things to come. Not saying that they're not out there. They probably are,
Sure.
but I haven't experienced that. But the majority of them are your higher power working to help guide you, and that's what they're for.
So as I guess, is that just a good practice to get into then? Like whether you feel it's revelatory or not, like if you can remember your dream upon waking to jot some stuff down?
It is helpful. It is helpful in a lot of ways. One of the ways that writing your dreams down helps is it helps you process what is going on. Now, some of the dreams are just dreams and you can wake up from them and kind of shake them off. But if they're dreams that are really impacting you or sticking with you, it's good to write them out so that you can look back at that. And if not, figure it out on your own, reach out and get people to help you.
Sure. What about reoccurring dreams?
Oh, those are fun ones. Reoccurring dreams are patterns.
A reoccurring dream that is not so fun, but tell me what it is though first.
Well, a lot of times reoccurring dreams are going to be connected to reoccurring thought patterns and reoccurring unresolved issues in our lives. So it's our brain's way of reminding us we're on the same path, or we're in the same kind of mode. Reoccurring dreams are the brain's way of, just like memories, they're just a construct. So it's like a construct that the brain works within. But if you ever notice, the reoccurring dreams, there's always something a little bit different every time, isn't there?
I guess I should be a better observer in my dreams.
There's usually something just a little bit different. And that's the fun part, is when you start to become aware that you can control your dreams by becoming a little bit more participatory in the dreams. That's a fun piece. A lot of people that have reoccurring dreams, I encourage them to, when you have that reoccurring dream, be a little bit more participatory in it and recognize, hey, this is a dream. Because cognitively right now, if you connect and go, okay, that's a recurring dream, the next time it comes, you'll recognize it, you'll snatch it, and then you just start to steer it and guide it in a fun way and move it in a direction that you would like it to go more than anything. The dream state is a very powerful way of connecting you, again, to your higher power, a way of manifesting powerful things in your life. One of the reasons why is because the dream state is very close to the meditative state. And in the meditative and the dream state is where you're actually manifesting things to come true into your world, because you're you're living or seeing or experiencing those things as if they already exist or if they already happened. So when you're dreaming, you're living as though they already happened. That's why you have the emotional reaction to them. Does that make sense?
Yep, totally.
And so that's why it's so powerful to be aware of your dreams and to be able to be a little bit more interactive and participatory in them. One of the ways that we can become very participatory in our dreams or participate more in our dream state is before we go to bed, it's what we are engaged in prior to sleep. And so a lot of times, if we're falling asleep, like we're watching television, for example, and some people will fall asleep watching television. Well, that's what's going to be playing. That's what's impacting your brain right before you go to sleep. If you're on your, as I call it, the glass window, thumbing through your glass window before you go to sleep, then you turn it off, set it off to the side, and then you go right to sleep. I encourage people to, before you go to sleep, for at least 5 to 10 minutes, disconnect from everything and really focus on what it is that you want to create in your life, and really focus on what it is that you want to bring into your life. And you think about it and you feel it, and you really start to control. Number one, if you do this, I can promise you, and you give me feedback, but if you will focus on that for 5 minutes of what it is that you want to create, not in a reactive way. And we talked about this with the manifesting when we did the other videos, but you will fall asleep quicker. You will fall asleep quicker.
That is so true.
It is, isn't it? It really is. And the reason why is because we're controlling what we think right before we go to sleep, and we have less emotional turmoil. Most people, they take inventory right before they go to sleep. Like, oh, I should have fed the fish, and I should have got the chicken out for tomorrow's meal, and and then we get all that stress and anxiety and
over the to-do list for tomorrow.
Right. And then there are other people that their head hits the pillow and it's like gone.
Yeah.
But if we take that 5 minutes, regardless of what your personality is, and really just kind of focus on what you want and what you want to feel, it will impact your dreams.
So let's talk about my reoccurring dream.
Okay, let's do.
So I've had this since I was a little girl. Actually, I haven't had it in years. So you said that typically it's, you keep processing something. So that's really cool information to think that perhaps I've worked through it. But I'm standing in the middle of like a big, big, big dirt field, and monster trucks are circling me.
Okay.
There's obviously a crowd there. I can hear them. It sounds like 5 million people talking at one time, but it's not like cheering. It's like just a lot of chaos.
Right.
And then up on a mountain, a cliff right above me is a little squatty, crazy old witch pointing at me and like that.
What does she look like?
She looks, have you ever seen The Last Unicorn?
I don't think I did.
She just looks like just really short and stout and like
she's
old.
Scary.
She's very scary.
So like it would be like Freddy Krueger scary, or like Wizard of Oz witch scary.
Wizard of Oz witch scary.
Okay, so just all right.
Yeah, and that's all.
And what color is she?
And I shake out. She's just like kind of like an old rag lady, like
so kind of grays and darks. Okay. So it is interesting to listen because your construct it starts out in chaos, right? So, and you're where? In the center of all the chaos. And that chaos is going on, and you've got a crowd around watching you. So you feel that people are really observing this chaos, and that you're out of control in the center of this space. And so as all this chaos is going on around you, I would propose that the witch is the judgment you have of yourself for being in the situation that you're in. So that witch is mocking you and laughing and judging as though you put yourself in the middle of everything, which is something that you probably do, don't you?
Tend to do sometimes.
You kind of put yourself in the middle of everything, and then in the middle of the chaos, and then you criticize or judge yourself for being in the middle of it. But yet the crowd is the support, which is what keeps you going to the center, because you're getting a lot of accolades, et cetera, et cetera.
Pretty good.
So what I would challenge you to do is the next time you go into that construct is that you allow yourself, when the witch is laughing, is that you change her into something different, maybe a unicorn.
Okay.
Change her. and then start to change the dream and see yourself coming out of that. And then it probably will stop being a reoccurring dream.
Mm-hmm. Cool.
Yeah.
Awesome. Interesting
Oh,
topic.
a lot of comments.
Jill asks, and when you never remember or are never aware of your dreams. So what about that? That's what I think is her questions. Like, what if you just don't remember your dreams? Is that, if I'm wrong, Jill, correct me, but that's kind of what.
So if you don't, if you
Sean's like, we own the last unicorn. It's so good.
That a boy. I guess you'll have to bring it over, Sean, and let me watch it.
Friday night
We'll have a video night.
Valentine's weekend, we're watching The Last Unicorn.
I gotta see The Witch. If you don't and some people don't remember their dreams,
mm-hmm.
and it's not like there's anything wrong, but with you, and that's one of the things that we have to be aware of. When we start thinking about dreams, one of the things that concerns me is we look at dreams through the filter of what's wrong with me,
right,
instead of help me understand. And so I have people come in and go, I don't remember any dreams. I never remember a dream. And I'm like, good. I mean, that's nothing wrong with that. Mm-hmm. There's nothing wrong. So if you're not retaining dreams or not remembering dreams, that's not a bad thing. It's just how you're built and how you work. And sometimes there's some other pieces and other things that can be parts that can be playing into it. And so, that's what I would initially say is don't think, well, what's wrong with me because I don't remember my dreams. Mm-hmm. There's nothing wrong with you if you don't remember your dreams, but odds are good that you may not remember dreams all the time. And most of the time people don't remember dreams. Mm-hmm. That's one of my favorite things is that the farther you get away from the dream, the less you retain. And that's because you're transcending between two worlds. You're transcending between the spiritual world and the quote mortal world. Mm-hmm. And the more that you immerse yourself in the mortal world, the more you forget that you're a spiritual being. And the more that you're in the spiritual world, you forget you're a mortal being. And that's how we transition between the two worlds. And it's who we are by nature, is we transcend between the two worlds. And that's how we get our inspiration. That's how we recuperate. It's how we get, the information that we need in our lives. So I would propose that people that don't retain a lot of dreams, it's not that they're not dreaming, it's just that they may not remember them. Mm-hmm. And that's okay. But there's probably some that they do remember.
Upon waking, yeah. So I'm sure that you guys have had this because it's probably part of just the human condition, but it's so frustrating when you do have a dream that you feel is potentially significant. And you're like, oh my gosh, I got to talk to so-and-so about my dream. And then you like get together with so-and-so and you're like, I had this dream last night and it was just significant and I can't remember it now.
Yes. And the reason why that happens is because, again, you're trying to take imagery and put words to it. Mm. And so you'll sit down and you'll try to explain to them all the detail and the minutia of the dream, but you can't. There's no way you can put words to that. And so it gets lost in translation, mm-hmm. Quotes. Lost in translation, air quotes. I just put them everywhere. They don't even belong here. I stole that from somebody else. But the point is that we do have that piece where we're trying to take this imagery and trying to explain it in detail. That's like going to Niagara Falls and trying to describe every detail of Niagara Falls. When you're in the dream state, you're so immersed, you're not trying to put words to it. You're not trying to put language to it. That's why you experience it on such an amazing level. That's why spiritual experience is so critical and important and so hard to translate or to express to another person. Mm-hmm. So,
well, I mean, just like how you said that we move from our spiritual state and back into our mortal state. So the longer you're in your day, right, the more you're going to lose from that experience.
Right.
So
the farther you get away from it.
Oh, geez.
Oh, more questions.
Oh, Jill said, yep, that's right. Lisa says, I used to have very vivid dreams, but I don't anymore.
Interesting. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And so sometimes that's because you work through things and there's pieces that you're able to work through. Some of our dreams are impacted by the emotional state that we're in. Sometimes when we're having dreams that are a little bit more vivid, it may be because we're in a growth state. And so we're experiencing a lot of emotions that make the dream a little bit more thick, so to speak, and more vivid. Where some we may not be as in deep of an emotional state at the time, and so they seem very, very thin. So that can happen.
Awesome. Thanks
we're already out of time.
For hanging out with us tonight, you guys. Your questions were awesome.
Yes.
It just goes every week.
I know it's 20 minutes. We try to give it to 15, but thank you everybody for tuning in. As you can see, I could go for hours on this topic. I love dreams.
Just real quick, Dean, before we head off, is there I don't know, the internet is vast. So would you maybe suggest people hey, I had this thing in my dream and Google it?
There are a lot of good sources out there that you can find things out. There's a lot of ways that you can find information, but I always encourage people to be careful who you listen to. Wikipedia is an open source, so it gives people the opportunity to kind of write whatever they want to write. But there are some really credible websites that you can go to, and I encourage you to do that. Otherwise, you can always come in here. And I'm more than willing to help you. Speaking of, as a life coach, Kate is an amazing life coach. So make sure that you take advantage of our life coaches and our therapists here at Turning Leaf, as well as out in our communities. For those of you that are remote, there's a lot of good people out there in the world. You just got to find us and search us out. So
and like Dean said, we got lots of awesome people here. Dean said I do it good, but this guy right here, you guys,
we're enjoying it. Well, thank you all for tuning in. You guys are amazing. We hope that you have a great Valentine's weekend.
Yes. Oh, and we have our couples workshop, our couples communication workshop.
Couples communication.
Not this Friday, the Friday after, because we want you to go and spend time with the people that you love this weekend.
And we're working on communication. So even though it says couples, it can be around family members. It doesn't have to be just a couple. So it can be any type of communication, but we are going to be really emphasizing the relationship in it. So
that is what is that date, Dean? Friday we've got it right here. Hold on, we can do it. The 22nd.
There it is.
Yeah, I was lucky that you put that paper there.
The 22nd
at 6:30 p.m. from 6:30 to 8 o'clock. Call us here, 652-1202. Reserve your spot. 435. Thank you. 435-652-1202 to reserve your space. It's $25 for a single seat and $40 for a couple seat.
That's a good deal.
It is a good deal. So
and then we have the parenting workshop too.
The week after that.
The week after on the 2nd of April.
March.
I don't know.
We don't even need March this year. We're going from February straight to April. So we checked with all the powers that be, and they're good with it.
They're good with it. I'm going to have a dream about it tonight. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in. Stay warm out there.
Have a wonderful week.